It was not easy to enter the world of Isabella Grimaldi. Those who knew her only superficially defined her as a woman of ice, always impeccable, always rational. But those who had had the privilege of observing her closely, in the rare moments when she lowered her guard, knew that beneath that armor lived an intense, sensitive, wounded soul. At 39, Isabella was the head of Grimaldi Engineering, one of the most influential companies in the European automotive sector, based in Turin. She had transformed the family business into a modern, technological, sustainable giant. She was respected, feared, celebrated, but in her private life, that success had a price. For 12 years, she had been married to Andrea, a brilliant visionary architect always flying between one capital and another. A powerful couple, envied, immortalized in magazines and galas, but in reality as distant as two continents. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our stories. Their home, a penthouse in the heart of Turin with a view of the hill and the shadow of the mole, was more of a showcase than a refuge. No children, not because of incompetence but because of a rational choice like all their decisions. Neither of them had wanted to slow down. In recent months, however, Isabella had begun to perceive a crack. Andrea was increasingly silent, his answers increasingly vague. When she spoke of her future plans, he listened without listening to her. She saw him as distant, as if he lived in another time, in another life. One autumn evening, returning late from an investor meeting, Isabella found him in the kitchen. The warm light illuminated his tired face, the glass of wine in his hand, his gaze fixed on the darkness beyond the window. "Andrea, is everything okay?" she asked, approaching. He jumped as if awakened from a dream. "Yes, I'm just tired." But Isabella felt that it was not just tiredness. There was a new silence, an emptiness she could not fill. In the days that followed, she sought comfort in Marta, an old friend. They had known each other since college. Marta, with her taste for fashion and all that sparkled, had always been an eternal socialite, fascinated by power, luxury, appearances. They met for lunch in a private bistro on Rue Lagrange, one of those places where time seemed to stand still among marble tables and candles lit even at midday. "You absolutely have to show me your new house," Marta exclaimed as they poured her some white wine. "I heard it's amazing." Isabella hesitated. It was unusual for Marta to show such direct interest, but maybe she was just being polite. "Sure, gladly. Come on Saturday," she replied, smiling. That Saturday, the autumn sun was coming in through the windows of the attic, lighting up the warm tones of the parquet and reflecting on the contemporary artworks that Isabella collected. Marta seemed fascinated, but her enthusiasm was different. She observed every detail too carefully, asked the value of every piece of furniture, lingered on the photos, especially those in which Andrea appeared smiling. When he left, Isabella remained motionless on the sofa. A strange uneasiness had taken hold of her stomach, but she tried to chase it away. It was only suggestion. The following week, her life fell apart. Returning from a meeting with a group of German businessmen, she found an elegant folder on the table. She thought it was a business document, but inside there were divorce papers. Andrea had already signed. No letter, no explanation. With shaking hands, she called him. "What are these documents, Andrea?" she asked. Her voice was a tight thread. "I wanted to tell you in person, but there's never time. I haven't found the right moment. he replied coldly. "Is there someone else?" Silence fell. "Yes, Marta and I are together," he replied without shame. It was like a punch to the stomach. Isabella sat down, unable to breathe. Marta herself, her lifelong friend, the one she had welcomed into her home, who had looked at her husband with those eyes that now, everything came back, were not just curious, they were hungry. The pain quickly turned into anger. Isabella was not a woman who let herself be destroyed. She called her lawyer and told everything. The law firm began a confidential investigation. In a few days, disturbing evidence emerged: suspicious transactions, a bank account abroad in Marta's name, unjustified financial movements. The betrayal was not only sentimental, it was also economic. They wanted to take everything from her. They arranged a confrontation. Marta and Andrea showed up at the law firm, paler than usual, dressed in elegant hypocrisy. Isabella's lawyer showed the documents, the evidence, a recording in which they talked about money, the future, the possibility of selling company shares. "I didn't mean to hurt you," Marta stammered, but Isabella didn't even look at her. Andrea, lowering his eyes, said, "You have every right to hate me, but know that I regret it every day. Don't look for excuses. You played with my trust. You underestimated the one thing you shouldn't have me," Isabella said with a firm voice. The divorce was signed with harsh conditions for Andrea. Marta was reported. A few months later, she was arrested for fraud. The echo of the scandal went around the Turin high society, and Isabella started her life again. With a new impetus, he launched an ambitious plan for European expansion. He traveled to Switzerland, where he met Lucas Meyer, a reserved and charming entrepreneur. Talking to him was like breathing new air. Both had suffered, and this created a silent connection between them. In Geneva, during a dinner on the lake, he found himself laughing as he had not done in a long time. Then it was Germany's turn, France's. Every meeting, every partnership, every handshake was a step forward. Grimaldi Engineering was flying again, and Isabella with her. She didn't just expand the business. She created a program to support young women in the engineering sector. She established scholarships, mentorships, workshops. Her pain became fuel, her collapse a springboard. Every evening from her new office, she watched the sun set behind the rooftops of the city. And she thought about how much she had changed, how much she had lost, but above all, how much she had grown. She was no longer just a successful woman. She was a whole woman. She had lost love, friendship, certainties, but she had gained something bigger, herself. And now, more than ever, she was ready to face everything that life had in store. With shining eyes, a straight back, and a heart open to a future that finally she felt was truly hers. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.